At the time of this recording, Icebox is the most recent addition to Valorant's map pool, having been released around 5 months ago. Initially, it was not well received, but after some quick changes by Riot and the player base adapting to the different challenges that this map presents, it is quickly becoming a personal favorite of mine. The biggest change I was able to make to my own gameplay for Icebox was expanding my agent pool to include Sage. Since the beta, she has been one of the most powerful characters in Valorant, even after receiving nerfs to most of her abilities sometime over the past year. A well-prepared Sage on Icebox can make all the difference between winning and losing, and in this video, I will break down the basics of what I think any new Sage player on Icebox will need. When attacking with Sage on Icebox, your goal should be to support your team in the main site push by using your slow orbs on key positions that defenders normally take duels and rotate from. Once committed to a site, you can use your barrier orb to cut off common angles, allowing your team to more easily plant the spike and take control of the site.
Someone on our flank, someone has to hold their flank.
Her heal can be used multiple times in one round, so make sure you are playing patiently and supporting your team in the post plant, as your utility is very powerful in these situations. Sage is one of the most natural agents to hold the spike, because she is typically not the one taking the initial duel, has to enter the site anyways to place her wall down, and it allows her to charge her ultimate faster. First, let's talk about pushing A. This site is entirely indoors, and has lots of narrow spaces, allowing for slow orbs to obstruct the major rotation points into the site. The key areas that Sage should focus on slowing when pushing A are back of site, rafters, and screens. When approaching from the left side, you can slow the back of site by aiming at this tile section on the wall above the generator. This slow is helpful because it will make it much harder for the enemy defender player to peek while your team pushes into the site. Alternatively, if you are approaching from the right side, aim no higher than the top green section on this tower and throw. It should land in the same spot as the first lineup. Next, for the Rafters Slow lineup. When approaching from the left side, aim at the bottom left of this window. This does not have to be perfect, and you can either stand still or run into sight as you throw. When it blooms, it should cover the entire left side of Rafters, preventing anyone from running out on your team. The final basic slow orb lineup that all Sage players should know is for screens. Standing on the right side of the lane, aim at the top border of the screen, run, and throw. This slow will stop enemies peeking from the left backside of site and temporarily prevent rotators from entering into the site from this direction. Here is a quick bonus lineup I found when making this video for slowing the defender site tower. Come to the right side of the lane and aim at the top right corner of this vent. Stand and throw. It will land and fully cover this top tower, completely trapping an unsuspecting enemy defender for an easy kill. When going for a quick spike plant on A, you can put a horizontal wall down next to the generator, so it leaves only a sliver of the site available for a plant. This will allow you to get the spike down quickly, but will make it hard for your team to take full control of the site. Most rounds, I would suggest placing a wall into the back of the site like this, as it will allow your team to take some more control over the area. This wall also creates some deep pockets under the rafters that you can use to hide during the post plant. This spike location is easier for your teammates playing further back, as it is visible from both lane and belt. Here is an example of me playing Sage on Icebox. I am able to use the wall to create a deep angle in the back of site and catch the enemies by surprise. Next, let's talk about pushing B. This site is much more open than A, and I typically try to use only one of my slow orbs during the push, saving the second for the post plant. The slow orb lineup that I use when running in a site is for the back lane, and can be done from either entrance into B. Look at this section of the left tower, run, and throw. This will help to prevent enemies from peeking out while your team is pushing into the site. One of the most helpful walls a Sage player can place when attacking B is in front of the double green boxes at the front of site, allowing for an easy spike plant. This wall not only blocks off any defenders hiding behind the green boxes, but will prevent you from getting wallbanged through them. After the spike is planted, I will typically play from behind this yellow container. If you still have slow orbs left, you can bounce them off the lower section of the tower to slow down the enemies during the retake coming from spawn. If you aim a little higher, the slow will land on the default plant spot, allowing you to peek at the diffuser quickly. When defending with Sage, the mid-kitchen area is one of the best places to hold. Not only can you use your wall to block the tube, but you have quick rotations to both spike sites where you can assist your teammates with slow orbs. The defender spawn also has long sight lines, allowing you to easily meet up with weak teammates to provide a heal. One of the big advantages Sage has over other agents when defending the kitchen is her barrier orb. This allows her to completely block off the tube entry point, so she can focus her attention on the under tube to B push. When using your wall in the tube, make sure that you use it at a slight angle like this. This will force any enemies who want to push to completely destroy multiple pieces of the wall, making it almost impossible. Be careful about leaving a gap like this in the wall, and Omen can teleport through it and catch you by surprise. When rotating into A site from the ground level, you can slow the main routes that the attackers normally take. From just outside of the doorway, look up at the site tower to the top corner of this light gray and throw. This will cover the right side and the default plant spot. Another good spot to use a slow orb is for the right side of the maze. When standing just inside the doorway to screens, aim at the ceiling. Look for this corner here and throw. This will block off the left side of the attacker's push, making your retake into site easier. Here's what this could look like at full speed. If instead you are rotating into A from heaven, you can still easily place slow orbs in the same locations as before. To slow the right side of the site, come to the top of the stairs here, aim at the top of this line above the generator, run and throw. To slow the left side, aim at the top right corner of the screen like this and throw. Here's what this could look like at full speed. If the enemies go to B, you will have a much quicker rotate because you only have to run down this hallway. A quick slow orb you can throw is off this glass panel to the right of the yellow container, preventing the enemies from pushing quickly into sight. In combination with this, you can throw another right off the front of the yellow container. I like to aim for the white numbers on the front. This will land in the main path of the attackers, slowing them from planting the spike. If you manage to save your wall and are retaking B, then you will have some good uses for it. First, if you rotate through the spawn and come into this corner in Snowman, you have access to this boost spot. Another good boost spot is over in this corner by the green double boxes. This spot will give you a good angle onto enemies trying to push into the site. You can also combo this wall with a slow orb like this to let you quickly jump onto the double green stack to peek and kill the spike planter. That's all for this video, and for what I would consider the basics any Sage player should know when playing on Icebox. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something from this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel as it helps me out a lot. I stream on Twitch several times a week at twitch.tv/steepsteps, so make sure to drop by and say hi. Breaking my wall right now. I'm gonna slow the orb for a second right now. I'm gonna slow orb.
Sage at 55 and